All right, everybody, welcome back. The people have spoken. We're going to continue to do these snippets of feature films. I mean, I call them feature films, but even in some of the breakdowns like we're going to do today, we look at some series that are running on any of the streamers. So it's basically, we're looking for good cinematography. Then we're going to analyze a bunch of different scenes from that story, whatever it might be. And then we're going to become better because we're basically looking at what they do, trying to come up in our own minds with what we would do to solve that exact same problem, because that is the work of a cinematographer. It doesn't matter if we don't know how they've done something. We know how to get the results that they've gotten, right? No two approaches are going to be the exact same, but if you can get in the ballpark and you have 100 different ballparks that you can choose from, that's going to make you a significantly better cinematographer. And what we're looking at today is the Queen's Gambit. Again, this is a smaller section of a much longer video that you can find if you're interested over on Patreon each and every week on Patreon in the link in the description. I do one of these feature film breakdowns where we take a long look at a number of different scenes and try and piece together how they did those things to better inform us how to tackle these same issues, should we ever come across them on set. And just as a spoiler alert, from years inside the business, you will come up against these problems again and again and again. And how you solve them will define how good of a cinematographer you are. And in today's example, in the Queen's Gambit, we're looking at a situation where you have 3 people inside of an office, a very basic setup. And those people that have followed along with the podcast and the framework for years will know that this is one of the go-to setups. You will be in this position for blocking and for lighting numerous times per day, let alone across the time of your career. You will be making these exact same choices. So that is what we are looking at in this little breakdown. Again, if you want to see more, head over to the Patreon channel, sign up, become a supporter. That's the reason this whole channel and the whole podcast exists, is because of that support. So many thanks to those that do. And let's get into this snippet of the feature film breakdown. Now, is this lamp, is this giant thing back here doing the lighting on them? What is your guess? I would say no. I would say this feels like it's coming from up here being pushed in this way, right? Feels like it's being pushed because there's not that much level on the back of her head where there's quite a pronounced level here, and it just feels crisp. And the problem is, say you're on a low budget or just a normal budget, and you see this look and you're like, man, I really like this look. This is good looking stuff. It looks like to me that all we do is we put a big lamp out there and we get the shears that we want with the right softness, and then we just push level through there. And then you do that on the day and there's just light going everywhere and you can't control it because you're lighting up the diffusion and there's nothing to block the diffusion off of any of the windows. So really here, again, if you can control the level outside of this window, you light up the shears to the level that looks normal. Okay, and in this situation, this looks pretty normal, right? It's a little bit hot. It's probably clipping. I still haven't found a way no, it's not clipping. For Resolve, like, I don't know, I'm on the beta version of Resolve and I haven't found a way for it to actually show up. It still feels a little bit HDR-y when I'm looking at this stuff versus when I look at it on Netflix. I'm sure it's just like my monitor setting or something. But, so not clipping. Not clipping is good. But it is really, really hot out there, right? It's just believably hot that is what the window would look like. We got a little, what is this? I think this was Red Monstro and Zeiss Supremes. So the full frame look going. Again, L of the room, wallpaper, nice little edge on this guy. We're shooting, the right way for that to happen. And then beautiful looking light here, right? Because this level, whatever's hitting her face is pushed that way up the image. So it's over here, coming at her this way, as opposed to filling in all of this with just fronty light, right? And even in this situation, even if you are going to go with like the lower budget version of this where you can't hang something over the top and light it, just tweaking the position of her chair so it's not looking straight forward, right? So you can maybe see that other eye. You just turn that chair a little bit this way, and then at least it opens up to you. It's not going to seem normal to these two having the conversation back and forth because this girl is going to be looking this way, but in movie language, it makes sense. Okay, now let's go see all the coverage here. What did they end up doing for singles? What did they find important? Okay, so we start in the close-up, which we already talked about. This is an easy one, right? If you can this is where it starts to get so easy with cinematography because we've gone through this setup so many times in day exteriors. Everybody should know exactly what we're doing here, right? The exact look that we're trying to get. Then it becomes about managing the ratios. This is where those last 7 minutes are spent, because you already have the setup. You already know, you've already talked to art department. They're going to have the shears. They're going to have the curtains. You already know you're going to light this up to the level that you want. Inside, you're going to bring something else for the hair, right? Because you don't want to rely just on this thing in case it has to be too bright outside. And then we're going to wrap it around. We're going to try and get to the other cheek. We're going to neg in here so we don't get any bounce back. And then we just walk it back to the level that we find appealing. And as long as this backlight hits back there, as long as we get enough wrap, we know the results. This is going to be good. This exact lighting setup outside with different ratios is going to look good. It's going to look just like this, but you can make it more high key. You can make it less high key. Here we are playing it really, really moody, right? This whole series is really down and open-toed. Okay, we come back to this. So that's our first wide look at the beautiful office. And where do we go from here? Single on him. We go single him. Come on. No, we go back to her. Easy. Oh man, look at that. So not only, I hadn't seen this before, but talking about that turned look. So we have the window over here, which should normally be really fronty. And if she is staring, like if her body twists around and looks this way more towards the window and towards the lady who's over here, you can tell by her eyes, they're way over there. If you turn the whole body, then you lose this beautiful shadow here. You lose our beautiful nose. We lose our beautiful little leak of light that we work so hard to do. So this is, again, a situation where you go up to the child actor and you say, listen to me. You do not move your face. Do you understand? And then you get arrested for, bullying a child into sitting in one specific spot. But all jokes aside, practical not on in the daytime in a period piece. Oh, cinematographer, you buck the trends. Whoever this is, whoever shot this, you are doing your own thing. So Ella the room, dark in the background, really nice pop to get her away from this. It's just a nice looking image, right? It's beautiful. But we got single on her, okay? But single on her looking the same direction as the wide, right? We like when she looks this way, we're not going to flop over here and do a single over the shoulder to him. Let's see where they end up cutting to. Oh, they cut to the front on single, right? This guy's in the worst position in the entire room. He's got, look at that fronty lighting. Like, where is our shadowy lighting? It's nothing. This guy's getting full frontal. I mean, he still has a little bit down here because you can cheat him a little bit. You can't cheat him crazy amounts. But that's a nice looking image. Again, big fall off of the sensor there, doing a lot of the hard, heavy lifting. Then we're into this corner, which we've already talked about. This is the hardest setup in this one. Back to the single. Okay, back to that one. That's okay. That's not too many shots so far. That's pretty good. We're inside the circle. As soon as we go in the close-ups, we're inside of this action, right? So the camera position is in there versus going over the shoulders, because that's when you can really start to blow out. This is a new angle, right? Okay, so now she's playing straight to him. So we're going to have a new line. And look at this, even this, like you can feel this light, this window that she's supposedly in the middle of is the light is, this is probably the edge of the light here, right? Like it leaks on over here, but really we're trying to get it as sidey as we can. The cinematographer is cheating as much as they can to try and get that to look sidey. And then this one, man, you just got to play it down. You just got to be happy to play this really, really down. And all of a sudden this little cheeky edge light comes out of nowhere. I like it. And of course you're bouncing from that way. Okay, next. But this is like a hard look. So you have to decide which, if you really like this look, well, the challenging bit is it's so bright out there that it can be really hard to focus your eyes here. If you're in a fast moving commercial, if you're in something narrative like this and you've got a little bit more time to sit with the images, your eyes can adjust from scene to scene, you can have a little bit more flexibility here, which is what they've done to great effect. So another single on her. She gets 2 singles for the scene. If I was the child actress, I would be demanding another single. We're in close on him. Focus, puller, missed there. And we soften the hell out of her image, right? Like she's way sharper than the old bag. Keep going. Oh, and now we're in the middle. All right, we're back to where we were. We go from that conversation. She looks screen left. We cut to the single back to her. What's that little operator movement there? Feel that little down tilt right there. That little tilt down when the eyes go down. I see what you're doing, operator. That's when, you cut there and The operator gets on the headsets. Did you see that? Did you like what you saw? Did you see what I did there? That little tilt, is that something I should do again next time? And you just look at the DIT. You're in the same tent. You look at the DIT. You roll your eyes and go, Jesus Christ. This guy. Can't get enough of this guy. And then you get another operator. Okay. I'm just joking. It's probably a fucking killer operator. You be nice to everybody on set. That's the rule. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Do you see how this could be seen over and over again as a cinematographer, right? You have people, they're looking at each other and they're talking. That's 99% of every story. And I know what you're saying. Sitting at home, you're probably thinking, obviously, that happens a lot. What does that have to do with me? I'm a cinematographer. I deal in feelings and emotions, and I just see it on set, while 45 people are waiting around for me to see it on set and then build it, and then it takes forever. But, I can do it by myself if I'm doing some spec thing. It doesn't matter if it takes me 4 weeks to get a shot of the sunset. I, too, am a cinematographer. When, in fact, this is where the difficulty starts to come in. You have to plan these things ahead. You have to work as a team. You have to explain to the team what is necessary. And the further that you can push that to before you actually get on set and before these decisions have to get made, guess what? The better the results are going to be. And how do you start to anticipate what the problems are going to be? You can do this all by yourself, or you can just look at the successful work of others, try and glean a little bit of information from those setups, look at how they solve the exact same problems, and then take them on as your own. And guess what? The end result is everybody thinks you know what you're talking about, when in fact, we all know that you don't. Okay. So on that high note, many thanks for watching. And again, if you want to see the full video, head on over to the Patreon. The link is in the description. Many thanks, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.